Hi, and welcome to this launch presentation for the Anybus Network Security Solutions portfolio. My name is Thomas Wassen. I am Business Development Manager for Network Security at Anybus and responsible for this new product line. We are very excited today to announce the immediate availability of a new range of industrial security appliances, the Anybus Defenders. These products are specifically engineered for OT environments. OT stands for operational technology, of course, as opposed to IT for information technology. And they are ideal to add segmentation inside your industrial networks. With them, you can reduce the risk for threats and significantly reduce any impact if a breach does occur. In addition, they can satisfy a large range of other security use cases. Why is this needed? Well, manufacturing and critical infrastructures are under attack. On a daily basis, you can read news articles like this one. Battery maker Varta is attacked by hackers, probably with ransomware. The IT systems are often compromised first, but in many cases, the threat drips through into OT. In fact, 1 out of 4 of the ransomware cases within manufacturing have resulted into downtime already. And if not, often the operations team feels insecure about continuing production. And like in this example, the production plants are shut down proactively. Operational managers need to feel more secure about the cyber posture of their plants while being more dependent on IT at the same time. They also need to be more isolated and protected, ensuring business continuity. A strategy with good segmentation and copying critical systems in demilitarized zones is the only path forward. This will minimize the impact on breach and reduce the risk of any threats disrupting uptime. Generally, manufacturing has not taken security serious enough in their digitization journey. The World Economic Forum echoed this in their report last year, that manufacturing is now the most targeted sector for cyber attacks. This is due to the rapid digitization and transformation, improving, of course, efficiency, sustainability, and enabling Industry 4.0. But it comes at a cost. Manufacturing generally has a high willingness to pay due to the high impact of downtime. And this makes them a very attractive target. It is important to understand that threats are real, and they are specifically entering deep into the OT space. For real, Gartner predicts that by 2025, cyber attacks will already have impact on the safety of humans, if this is not the case already. Even though, for most hackers, the primary objective right now is money. Malware is adopting specifically to OT just because it's so much more impactful or, effective. A consequence of that is that cybersecurity vulnerabilities become safety risks. So implementing a cybersecurity control framework is therefore a necessity, especially in OT. Change is also driven by regulations. In Europe, the NIS2 directive is taking effect in October this year, demanding proactive action from executive teams. And manufacturing is now specifically marked as a critical sector. The US has executive orders that are similarly bringing the urgent need for cyber protection to the attention of the asset owners. Great frameworks like 62443 drive change and ensure a much more hardened infrastructure. But they are still optional. The asset owner must be mature enough to have a strategy to adopt them, and they will take a ton of time to be implemented. More and more often, we see insurance companies mandating it though, providing another push for change. Still, we feel that too little action is taken, largely because asset owners are confused and don't really know what to do and prioritize. They need help. Really, it's all backwards. Security should have been embedded inside the network, but it has not. And now it's time to reassess the situation and the risks taken and put security in place. Security is complex, and especially for industrial networks. The market with solutions is incredibly fragmented. Unfortunately, this has resulted in too many rather waiting than taking action and increasing their cyber posture. At the same time, we have to acknowledge that OT security does not come in a one-product solution. It is a mix between people, process, products, and the right partners for peace. It's also a space where IT minds and OT minds meet with totally different priorities. IT focuses foremost on confidentiality, protecting the company's intellectual property, while OT prioritizes availability, after safety, of course. And this causes for confusion and friction. Keeping things manageable helps with this simplified overview of the 4 key elements of a sound OT security strategy. First of all, you must know what you have before you can protect it. Discovery and network mapping tools are essential to find all the paths into networks and see who talks to who. Secondly, driven by regulations like NIS2, where it's required to report if you have had a breach within 24 hours, there is a big push for detection solutions or other relevant monitoring. You cannot stay ignorant. However, solutions in these areas do not directly help you protect uptime. They will tell you when something happened after it occurred. And the tool will generate many false positives that need people to do assessments on. To defend uptime, it's far more important to focus on protection. To reduce the impact of an incident and reduce the risk of threats coming in. As an operational leader, you must assume a breach will happen to you. It's only a matter of time. Therefore, also, it is very important to have a sound backup and recovery strategy. Think about PLC configurations, Windows-based HMIs, etc., etc. They are often not included in the regular IT backup routines. With the Anybus Defender launch, we will focus right now on protection. There are other drivers for change as well. Traditionally, industrial networks are built in an isolated, air-gapped manner. Using different technologies like serial buses, it was harder for anyone to do any harm. The hackers would maybe still hack the PLC, but disrupting the process would require significant special knowledge. This was done with Stuxnet many years ago, but other examples are rare. As we know from our HMS annual Industrial Protocols report, networks are evolving more and more towards standard Ethernet technology and with IP as an underlying transport protocol. To stay air-gapped, many have designed the networks using multiple interfaces on a PLC and requiring any traffic to bridge this. As the PLC is not a router, this mimics a serial bus type of architecture. However, the Ethernet units could physically connect to industrial networks easily, already increasing the threat surface. But typically, physical access would be required. But more importantly, this architecture blocks innovation. To have an effective digitization journey, other tools must have access to the network and the assets directly. Therefore, networks are changing and opening up. The PLC is just one node, and other tools gain direct access. Exposing the infrastructure like this does enable easier digitization, but it also significantly increases the threat exposure and the risk for downtime. Malicious actors now have direct access through the IT infrastructure. Unifying network technologies does enable easier digitization, but it increases the threat exposure and the risk for downtime significantly. The solution looks something like this. Of course, you need a firewall between the internet and your office IT network with PCs. This requires an enterprise IT firewall. Next, you should separate OT from IT. Following defense in depth best practices, you should have a different brand of firewall here. Also, you have to realize the job to be done is very different. Enterprise firewalls need to stop all traffic from coming in, but allow all from going out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to use the web and any cloud services at the office. This is different in OT, where you need to be very restrictive what you allow in both directions, as a threat can come from all sides. It can come from visiting workers, from third-party remote access, from neighboring machines, from insiders, and from the IT domain. This is exactly why asset owners are advised to isolate their critical machines, putting a wall around them and making them as self-sufficient as possible. This is a strategy providing protection, visibility, and control of the traffic and the production process. The ISA IEC 62443 framework is one big force that pushes change, but also helps making this easy to manage. In short, the 3-free framework guides towards a risk-based strategy where you make an analysis per system or machine that you have on what the impact of an incident would be. Thereafter, you assign different security levels towards these zones and separate your zones with conduits. A conduit is an enforcement point for traffic between zones, typically an industrial firewall. When applying 62443.3.3, this is an abstract of what is needed. You have requirement 5.1 about physical segmentation. It states that it is required to separate control zones, control systems from non-control systems. You must isolate safety control systems and separate machines with different security levels. Physical segmentation between them means that you put a conduit between the zones. And this can be a firewall or a security gateway of sorts, depending on your need. In addition, requirement 5.2 prescribes zone boundaries, enforcement points of traffic between zones, and a deny by default policy, e.g. only specify traffic that you choose and must have in order to make the process work. Some of these requirements listed here are elevated and are needed for security level 2, SL2 within 62443. But generally, this is seen as the low bar for implementing the framework. So segmentation, according to 62443.3 SL2, requires firewalls as conduits with physical segmentation to separate zones and monitor and control traffic between them. Industrial security appliances are devices enabling several practical use cases meeting security needs. The Anybus Defenders are available with several different licenses to cater for several different use cases. Common industrial network use cases are network address translation, or NAT, managing IP address conflicts, and anyway enabling communications. But by itself, NAT is not a strong security use case, but enabled with the firewalls, advanced traffic filtering can be applied, satisfying the deny by default requirements. Segmentation according to 62443, with traffic filtering on IP and port numbers, both source and destination, and also filtering based on MAC addresses. This can be enabled in NAT mode, but also in routing mode, and even in transparent bridge mode, not requiring any readdressing when implementing in brownfield installations. IT-OT separation and the creation of demilitarized zones for shared IT resources, incredibly important to isolate the IT for OT systems and domains, those systems that are really more IT, but are still critical for the production process. Access control with DPI, with deep packet inspection, allowing enforcement in the network on industrial protocols, including Modbus and SIP for Ethernet IP. For instance, you can also allow read access on PLCs from specific addresses, but not any write procedures during, for instance, production hours. And lastly, plant-to-plant secure OT connectivity for VPN technology used within the operational environments. For example, in large or geographical distributed sites, an Anybus Defender is used to enable connectivity, but also provide perimeter security on the sites. IPsec, OpenVPN, but also WireGuard technologies are supported. Let's have a deeper look at the product lineup of what we are launching today. 4 hardware models are available, satisfying various connectivity requirements. From a compact model with essential use case support, with support for 2 segments, to gigabit Ethernet models with 6 physical segments, and many more logical ones, supporting all the use cases. Let's walk through them one by one. First off, the Defender Compact 1004, a 10100 interface equipped firewall, 2 segments, and a built-in LAN switch with 3 ports. Ideal to isolate small machines, enable NAT, and segmentation use cases. Unique for this firewall is that it's managed with a Windows software through a USB cable locally, much like how a traditional PLC is configured with a local management station. Second, the Defender 402, gigabit Ethernet, 2 physical segments, and many more logical segments through VLAN support. Built for all use cases, including DPI and VPN. The 402 is an industrial-grade security appliance, rated for IP50, so dust-proof, and mounted with DIN rail. It is configurable via an easy yet flexible web management interface or via central console software. A possible setup can look like this: a WAN port towards the northbound supervisory segment and several logical segments on a switch supporting VLANs. The firewall is responsible for routing traffic between VLAN, enabling conduit capabilities. This satisfies the 6244333 security level 1 requirements. Logical segmentation. Third, the Defender 6004, gigabit Ethernet also, but now 4 physical segments, plus support for many more logical segments through VLAN. Supporting all the use cases. And this model is perfect for segmenting a few zones with physical segmentation. And different layer 2 infrastructure is of course needed in each zone, and all traffic between the zone always goes through the Defender. It's perfect to satisfy the 6244333 security level 2 requirements. Lastly, the Defender 6024, 4 copper gigabit Ethernet ports, and additionally 2 SFP ports, supporting both fiber or copper. A total of 6 physical segments, and many more logical ones. Both these last models support all use cases, are IP50 rated and DIN mountable. The 6024 provides extensive segmentation capabilities. Dual WAN can be supported if desired, and a combination of logical and physical segments can be supported with 1 unit. Of course, you can use subnetting to separate assets also, but you must know that this does not enable protection. It's only for convenience. It's still the same zone. In larger installations, with many segments and many firewalls, it is important to have the capability to centrally manage them all. The Anybus cybersecurity console software is a centralized system management app that offers easy-to-use modern web UI interface where groups of firewalls can be put into collections for quick deployment of rules. The software is compatible with the Anybus Defenders 4000 and above. It enables monitoring operational and protective states of the network, and it handles backups centrally. Plus, provides firmware and extension package depository locally on-prem, as well as a centralized license information. It's a Windows software installed on-prem in a supervisory layer of the infrastructure. We currently offer 3 versions, 3, 5, or 10 client licenses, meaning the number of defenders that are managed by the software. And more are, of course, available on request. The Anybus Defenders 4000 and above can be pre-configured with one of 3 licenses. Either a NAT and stateful firewall license for 6443 segmentation, or a DPI license for industrial protocol screening and asset access control, as well as virtual patching through an intrusion protection system add-ons. And finally, a Pro license for enhanced routing and VPN capabilities, for OT-SD-WAN, like BGP routing support for dual internet connections, support for high availability with 2 units, and traffic shaping capabilities. Pretty advanced stuff. The licenses come pre-configured with the unit in the box and are perpetual. There are no recurring renewal fees. These Anybus Defenders are engineered for OT specifically. Besides the rugged form factor, this is one of the features that shows that specifically. The unit helps you identify what you are protecting, so it becomes easier to read and adjust your security rules. It supports various industrial-specific protocols to perform the scan and identification, and provides insight like type of equipment, brand, software version, patch level, etc., together with an accuracy score. And of course, this can be optionally enabled. In addition, we include specific functionality to make advanced configurations easy. Anybus Defender includes deep packet inspection capabilities, and other firewalls will likely support thousands of protocols, but they are not relevant for OT. The Anybus Defender instead supports a few highly relevant ones very, very well. The product includes packet capture and DPI analyzer capabilities, so that the rules are created for you. It's just to choose, select, and enable. In this way, more advanced access control capabilities can be enabled in a network, like disabling write commands to a PLC for those accessing through remote access, or only allow upload of a new PLC configuration during maintenance windows. In total, we are launching 13 new offerings, and they are available today. More information on more information on each can be found on our webpage, and for pricing, please contact our sales. Here you see their order codes. A little bit more information on the product positioning. Analyst firm ABI Research noted in their latest OT cybersecurity market forecast report that network security and segmentation technologies will grow the most towards 2028. Answering towards this trend, the Anybus Defenders provide tailored, robust, and reliable segmentation and protection use cases specifically designed to reduce the risk and the impact in critical industrial control systems and operational technology networks from evolving threats. They are specifically designed for industrial environments, robust with OT-specific relevant features, ease of use, and a license structure that works for critical infrastructures. With Anybus Defenders in your production environment, you will gain reliable, field-proven protection, visibility, and control. As a part of this launch, we are also introducing a few training offerings. First up is an industrial security awareness training, a one-day course for OT professionals with live ethical hacking demonstrations to give them the experience of how cyber criminals can disrupt operational networks with ease. Learn about how to address common architectures, hardening flaws, and mitigation strategies, and get an overview of relevant regulations and standards. Taught by operational technology experts, they will also share strategies on what you can do about it. This is primarily for OT engineers not familiar with cybersecurity, or for management who want to understand the risk they're taking. Secondly, we will have an Anybus Defender product training. This is a 2-day technical course for OT and IT professionals who need to design networks or operate the Anybus Defenders 4000 and up. Network segmentation principles and scenarios will be practiced hands-on as well. Both are scheduled face-to-face in lovely Delft in the Netherlands, but more editions will come elsewhere too. Please contact us with your request. Please also watch out for our full webinar series with security trends, updates on regulations, and walkthroughs of strategies on what you can do to defend uptime. These free webinars are not product specific and will focus on the problems and what you can do to protect your uptime. So, the conclusion. Protection must become a priority. Segmentation is key to minimize impact and reduce risk. Understanding that a cyber incident in your OT environment will happen, it's better to be prepared. OT is different than IT and requires fit-for-purpose proven solutions. 6244333 segmentation and DPI use cases. The market is pushed forward by threats, by regulations, and by standardization. A range of products is available. Start protecting now. Minimize the impact of a breach. Defend your uptime.